Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Mr. Bistriceanu. I'm the financial director of the group. I am joined by Mr. Sebastian Câmpeanu. My colleague will take over the interim general manager position. He has an experience of over 4 years within the group and previously in the banking and financial sector. He is actively involved in the development and involvement and implementation of our development strategy. We are going to briefly present all of the results related to the first quarter of the year. Please allow me to say a few words. I am very happy to be here with you for my first conference with the investors in my career in the Impact Group. As Claudiu stated before, briefly, I want to tell you that I started in the banking sector 28 years ago. Over 28 years ago, I specialized in corporate lending, in impact, among other responsibilities. I also tackled funding in terms of all of the projects that we carried out in these 4 years that I've been active in the team. I am confident that together with Claudiu and the entire impact team, we are going to finalize all of our plans. Let's move on to the presentation. I hope you can see the screen correctly. So a couple of key matters related to Q1. The group sold 26 dwellings with a total value of approximately 4.8 million euro. Other revenue in total value of 3.5 million euros were recorded in terms of intra-group companies. Our company within the group EGTI started to have a consistent volume in terms of construction revenues, also rental revenues and property management revenues. The gross margin of the group was maintained constant at 33%. And in terms of net assets, their value as of March 31st was 257 million euro. In terms of the market, the value of pre-sold units and available for sale, 135 million euro. As you know, we don't recognize revenues except when they are in the agreement phase. So these were not reflected in the revenues that I have mentioned before. The indebtedness level of the company is 27%, the leverage ratio, and the cash position 9.7 million euro. Impact holds a total land bank of 86 hectares, sufficient in order to continue the development of all projects, Greenfield, Băneasa, and Boreal Plus in Constanța. We will also start the development of 3 new projects, Greenfield Câmpeanu in Iași, Area Verde in Bucharest, and Greenfield West, located between Bulevardul Timișoara and Bulevardul Ghencea in Bucharest. As of the reporting date, we have a building permit for approximately 2,700 units with a market value estimated by us at approximately 384 million euro. Compared with the same period of the previous year, in Q1 2023, we recorded an increase in revenues of 89%, EBITDA 5.9 million lei. The increase is due to a higher number of units sold from the company. We had a higher construction activity, which will continue this year as well. We also had rental revenues and sold more dwellings. The gross margin maintained stable at 33%, in line with what we obtained in 2023. The average selling price had a positive impact. In Luxuria, it increased by 50%. 10%, I'm sorry, 10%. We sold 18 apartments as compared to 13 apartments the same period last year. Unfortunately, due to the blockage from last year, in the meantime, we carried out the acceptances in Greenfield, but we didn't have any stock in Greenfield, and this was also reflected in the revenues that we registered. In terms of balance sheet data, we had no significant changes in Q1. Debt to assets ratio was kept stable at 27% as mentioned. It's decreasing 28% as at December 31st. No significant changes in liabilities balances. Moving on in terms of finalized phases, in Luxuria, we have reached a sale degree of 89%, only 70 units available. Boreal Plus over 40%. And in Boreal Plus, we have the villas, only 4 villas left available for sale. In terms of under construction phases, in Greenfield Băneasa, Taylor neighborhood, 1,167 units of these 3 phases. So 700 were concluded. Phase 5, we have over 500 units, and we plan to start the last phase, namely phase number 4. We already have a pre-sale degree of 32%. We intend to start construction in Boreal Plus Constanța, phase 1 and 2, 464 dwellings, and in Copoiaș we have the permits for 162 dwellings. As I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we have a total of 2,700 dwellings for which we have building permits, and the value is over 350 million, as I stated before. The beginning of the presentation, the market value 180 million euros. The portfolio is enough to develop our projects. We have not acquired new land plots in Q1. In what concerns the value of net assets or net asset value, as of March 31, it was 183 million euro, and the adjusted value is 257 million euro. The difference stems from assessment and valuation. As per IFRS, certain elements from the balance sheet cannot be reevaluated, but we reevaluated them in order to show you a better or a more correct image. We also included our non-current assets, some of them also investments in real estate and also stocks. And of course, land plots in development projects. All of these figures are reflected in the difference that I mentioned beforehand between the two values. In what concerns the perspectives or outlook for the next 12 months, in Greenfield Taylor, we finalized and conducted the acceptance of the first 732 units. We estimate in Q3 at the beginning of Q4, we are going to conclude the first sale purchase agreements. The total value of the project, 96 million euros. We have pre-sold 45%, including parking spots and storage units. We intend to develop a new neighborhood in Greenfield Băneasa called Stejarilor, and we want to obtain a building permit for approximately 600 units with an estimated value of more than 81 million euro. We are also carrying out measures in order to supplement new access ways to the neighborhood. We had a favorable decision of the local county council for the access road that passes through Băneasa Forest, and we have an approval in terms of takeover of the municipality of Bucharest to take over this road, and we are currently waiting to these next months for this access road to be obtained, for the environmental office to also grant an approval. So hopefully, or we are convinced that by the commencement of the new school year, this road will be okay. We also have an endorsement for the reconfiguration of the roundabout before the DN1 highway in order to ensure a better access. So basically, there's a reconfiguration taking place so that we can have better and more optimized flows without traffic jams at rush hour. A week ago, I believe, we received the necessary permits for the construction of the school for on a land that we have acquired in the past. We believe that this will lead to an uptick in terms of greenfield sales. So basically in Q3 and Q4, when we are also going to have available stock and we will be able to conclude pre-sale and sale agreements, this project will actually show better results and will lead to considerable revenues. In what concerns Area Verdi project from Boulevardul Barbu Văcărescu, we are currently in the final stage of permitting. The concept will be concluded soon, and we are going to submit the case file for permits. As you know, last year we obtained the permits for Copou Iași. Right now we are working to conclude and configure the funding structure so that we can finalize the first phase of the project. The project will be split into 6 phases, and we are going to launch the first phase as soon as possible once we obtain the funding structure, once we decide the bank that we are going to continue with in the project. The value is at approximately 175 million euros. We also presented in the past the Greenfield Plaza, where we have a spa wellness area. We are now at 97% occupancy rate, and we are already marketing these services. We estimate the transaction value at approximately 25 million euro. It could happen this year. We are ready for it, but we are going to see for sure in the next 12 months, we are going to have discussions with potential buyers. As we stated, this is a brief presentation of our financial operation results, and we are here for discussions and we await your questions. Please ask them in the chat area. We received questions in the registration phase related to outlook and perspectives. A part of the perspectives or outlooks were presented right now. We had a question related to when will we grant dividends this year. Right now, we have not taken into account this. We need equity in order to develop the new phases that I mentioned before in the presentation. We estimate the next year, once sales will reach a significant level in Greenfield Taylor, we will probably discuss about the granting of dividends. And I want to add something in terms of outlook. Basically, in Q3 and Q4, Impact will register a huge uptick in terms of turnover once we start final sales of apartments contracted in Greenfield Taylor. And at the end of the year, we are going to significantly reduce loans of the company. I estimate around 40% lowering of total loan balance. And as my colleague stated before, in 2025, we estimate that we are going to have a good liquidity level once we reimburse the investment loan that we contracted for the development of Greenfield Băneasa. In terms of other outlook perspectives, all of our projects that are underway have strong foundations. The funding structures are well in place, so there's no issues that we have tackled. We wanted to have a funding policy as healthy as possible so that we can develop our activities in an harmonious way and to develop our projects that we have in the pipeline.
We had 700 units finished, 45% pre-sold. We estimate that half will be revenues that will be recorded in the third and fourth quarter this year. We did not have any inventory in the first quarter available for sale. We have a considerable development, and it will be reflected in our financial results in the next 12 months. If you have any questions, please ask them in the Q&A section. We are here to answer them. You can contact us on the investor relations email. We will discuss any topic that you might consider important. Thank you for participating, and see you at the next conference. Have a nice day. Thank you.